The question whether the unity is negotiable has always been there. Now, is our unity really a burden for us, judging from what different opinions that have been coming across? In the last 3 days, people have talked about leadership, people have talked about structures and other means that we need to actually do to stabilize our nation. Is the question for unity a burden, really?
Of course, it will bother any compos mentis Homo sapien who is a Nigerian, you know. But let me start by saying that the foncet origo for why Nigeria is today quagmired, or if you like, quarantined in a labyrinthian bind, or if you further like, a cul-de-sac of Penelopic disunity and instability, can be traceable to a vaudeville of reasons. But if you give me the indulgence of time, I will race through about 4 or 5 reasons with ceaseless staccato. And we cannot begin to dilate this topic without first of all tracing the reason to what I would like to stigmatize as the challenge of our historical colonial legacy. When the colonial masters amalgamated the north and southern Nigeria into Nigeria, they didn't do it to satiate the Pax Nigeriana of our dreams. No. It was to masturbate and to mollycoddle their imperialistic ego and obesity. Little reason, therefore, that they apotheosized our centrifugal fault lines. The North and the South lived as different countries, whereas in other large British colonies, such as in India and Sudan, where they had just one single administrative system, in Nigeria, we had 2 administrative systems. One in the north, one in the south. We had different judicial systems, different land tenure systems, different educational systems. This, of course, created a feeling of mutual suspicion, and they deliberately put in place a machinery to emphasize our regional disparities. Little reason, therefore, that even during the decolonization struggle, nationalists fought themselves more corrosively, more acerbically, and more virulently that they even fought the colonial masters. Reason, therefore, you will not be maniacally bewildered that when a simple issue like self-government motion was tabled, it generated mutual suspicion. That, of course, was the genealogy of the distrust and mutual suspicion we had in the country. It was a carryover to the politics of the First Republic. And we, of course, witnessed the politics of medicinal statism and gangrenous tribalism that pulverized the First Republic. The second reason I want to bring under focal iceps and biceps is the menace that Christianity and Islamism has played. It has constituted a problem of nation building. The truth must be told. We have a country of about 250 ethnic groups that qualify for nationalities in themselves. As if this is not enough, Christians and Muslims have decided to look upon themselves as rivals, struggling for religious hegemony and struggling for political supremacy. in a bid, therefore, to protect their imagined or real religious and political space, they have frequent resort to ethnic and religious militias. They arm these militias in such a way and manner that these militias now become parallel security outfits. They oil them and the political class manipulate them. I think the time has come in this country where there must be a serious colloquy, or if you like, a serious conversation between Christians and Muslims. The country Nigeria does not stop with Christianity and Islamism. The third reason I want to bring under focal biceps and biceps is what I would call corruption. If you like, call it defalcation. If you like, call it malversation, bad leadership, and allied vices such as our stigmatic political elites. Since 1960, but most especially since the Second Republic, we have had in the main politics of prebendalism, politics of patrimonialism, philistinism, parasitism, bunkerism. We don't only have oil bunkers, we equally have political bunkers. And they have seized the ship of state, captured the ship of state. Public resources have been criminally privatized in service of private ends and their cronies, or what one scholar called their subaltern clients. Little reason, therefore, that since 1960 up to today, a microscopic minority of this country continue to swim in the waters of Epicureanism and hedonism, while a preponderant number of Nigerians wallow in a marshmallow of disease, squalor, poverty, and at times this vast majority of Nigerians vacillate between exorbitant enthusiasm and irrational irritability. Are you surprised, therefore, if the aftermath of this dysfunctional state, where macroeconomic policies will not work, will occasion restiveness, youth restiveness, will occasion instability, and will occasion cause for separatism? These are necessary concomitants of leadership failure.
All right, that's from our Benin Network on to Benin Network Center. Honorable Patrick Obayagbo, of course, you've been listening to the other guests. In terms of having a clear vision as to where we want Nigeria of our dream to be, what is it that we need to do so that, as some of the guests have also indicated, there will be social justice, and there will be social mobility, and then less emphasis on identity matters that at the moment tend to exacerbate the tensions with regard to unity and stability. Where do we want to go to, and how do we want to get there? And can we have the elite class and the other stakeholders mobilized to get to Nigeria of our dream, united and stable, but not necessarily uniform?
For me, beyond social justice, there must be economic justice. That is at the root. That is at the root of agitations in the country. The British jurist and philosopher Albert Van Dicey talked about the rule of law. There must be rule of law in this country. There must be supremacy of the law of the land. The difference between one of the differences between the developed society and developing society is the fact that we relate with the rule of law as it suits our whims and caprices. There must be rule of law. For me, I do not believe that the political elites are ready to commit class suicide yet. And because the political elites are not ready to commit class suicide, we must constitutionalize and give legal teeth to what are our noble aims and aspirations. And that is where the clamor for restructuring and devolution of powers come into the picture. Never mind that the idiot restructuring has today become a buzzword for both very sublime and pristine thinkers and even those who are politically shattered, tattered, battered, and tattooed. The truth remains is that if this country must make progress, we must devolve powers. And if you want me to speak to some specificities in the devolution of powers and remove it from its nebulous realm like the hanging garden of Babylon, I would say straight away that I am of the firm view that the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy in our constitution should be given a legal teeth. It has become a high time where it should be made justiciable. Secondly, we must look at the public policy and fiscal federalism side of our federation. I am imparting material in Cabudo Simulacrum with the recommendations of the National Confab that posited that we must rejig our revenue allocation formula. And it was stated that the state should have 35%, local government 22.5%, and the federal government 42.5%. I equally believe, and I'm equal of the firm view, that minerals should be divested completely from the monopolistic hold in the exclusive legislative list. Put this in the concurrent list. And provide 5% of our national budget yearly to prospect for mineral deposits. The presidency of the country should be rotated for a period of time among the 6 geopolitical regions. You must equally federalize security matters. A situation where Abuja sits in Mountain Olympus and expect that they know grassroots policing is no longer realizable. I am equally surprised that the National Assembly thought that INEC should not conduct local government elections. Are we federalizing, or we are unitarizing? So until we divest the federal government and the center of its Santa Claustic and narcissistic, mobocratic and kakistocratic centrism, and make the center less attractive to go to, we will continue to have a nihilistic, a violent, and an apolitical disposition towards fight and struggle for power at the center. So I believe we must begin to have an incremental devolution of powers. That is the only way to go.
Struggling for autonomy should be ready for a long haul. It's not a short sprint. It's not a walk in the park. But it is worth the fight. Because at the end of the day, I believe we will have effective local governments so that we can compare ourselves with the Canadian provinces.
The problems we are having throughout the nation now, it is self-inflicted. And it is not far from the fact that we have deliberately refused the local governments to function. And as we have refused the local governments to function by stealing their revenues, rendering them incompetent and incapable to.
Honorable Patrick Obahiagbo, Well, that will bring you down from your mountain Olympus, like you pointed out. Thank you very much. We appreciate your contribution.
Yeah, well, yeah, blessing, of course. I mean, from what you listen to him say, he has already battered the subject matter, tattered it, and politically tattooed it.
Tattooed it.
All right, Patrick Obayagmo, of course, he's not disappointed just yet, but we have reactions. And to Honorable Patrick Obayagmo. Patrick Obayagmo, well, thanks a lot. I mean, you've said a lot of things. Of course, you have tattooed the points. You've talked about the political bunkers and Epicureanism, hedonism, and then, of course, with the Santa Claustic perspective. What are your closing thoughts? In less than 15 seconds, we'll give Prof 30 seconds. We'll give you 15 seconds.
This is to comment to Nigerians, more particularly the political elites, the immortal words of the late Prime Minister of Great Britain, Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, who was once quoted as saying,
Hey, welcome back. I know many of you must have watched and listened to what this man has to say concerning the unity of Nigeria and what this country called Nigeria is facing. Though many of you have listened to what he has to say concerning this, you don't see many persons out there normally come out to talk about the issue of Nigeria, and it seems not to be solved because people will be see they are at the top, they don't want it to be solved. If you carefully understand and carefully listen to what people who spoke in the video says, you will understand that there are many problems that we having in this country that seems not to be solved because many people out there are gaining out of it. You know, see, you don't see with the shout unity every day, and I will see with the user and the sing like see you a song where we the sing at times, but the thing we be saying me I get to learn and know be this, even as some persons, even this my website I see for here, they talk see the unity of Nigeria is negotiable. It's not negotiable to me, it's not negotiable. The only thing we be saying if you help this country now be this, if they won't make everybody will be say that they inside this country survive. The only thing we be say they feed for the people of this country to survive is to divide or share this country apart so that okay every region has the autonomy or the right to control its own thing, because they don't will be say okay Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo don't even create the name for their own self, Ariwa, Oduduwa and Biafra we be say okay all of them don't they where they say they want group. So all this time we be say some person they come and want talk say the unity of Nigeria is negotiable. I think that one is a lie. The only thing we be saying okay if you help us in this country now be that separation. We everybody come and come they talk at times, and I am not I'm not on the separation part, but the way it is in this country, it seems like some people them they marginalize. You know, say get some people say they suppose they enjoy this country, obviously then they enjoy some majority, some know they enjoy that, some minority they enjoy past some majority. So this country obviously even they serve it don't entire person, many persons out there obviously some people come they travel, they go abroad, obviously they no one come back. So now I be saying a year or now I know see many of you now get something to talk concerning this. If you have something to say concerning this, you should drop your own thought in the comment section, and also if this is your best name, kindly like, share, subscribe. Thank you.